Okay, let's look at part 4, and we see there's a root space part 4a, and if I open that up we'll see that we're going to talk about or look at the resolution order, so how the effect of the order in which you declare endpoints determines where they get resolved. So what we have is a root space, and it looks pretty much the same as we've seen before. We have another instance of our accessor1 here with the same grammar, and just for illustration we've got an import, and this import is importing part 1. Now if you can remember all the way back up to part 1, part 1 is an address space that's got a single instance of the accessor1 physical endpoint with the same active column 1 grammar. So it's got the same resource set in it, logically the same identifier in it. So what we need to understand is if we ask for active column 1 in this space, which active column 1 are we going to get? Because it seems like we've got 2. If we look at the Space Explorer and we look at part 4a, part 4a's diagram, we can see that I have an accessor1 instance declared ahead of an import statement, but that import statement imports part 1, which also has an accessor1 endpoint declared. So which one of those are we going to resolve? You're probably ahead of me by now. Let's try this in the resolution tool. Try part 4a space and resolve it, and no surprises, it resolves to a physical endpoint accessor1 because that's all we've got available. But which one did it resolve to? Well, it's actually telling us the ID. It resolved to the part 4a A1. And if we look at the resolution trace, we see that we tried part 4a, and the very first endpoint we tried was accessor1 in that space, and we hit it, we resolved there. So in fact we never went down. You see the resolve scope has stayed the same. We're in the part 4a address space. We never went down the import. We didn't need to, because the first endpoint we tried said it matched. If we look at part 4b, we've got the same address space, it's just we've reversed the order of declaration. So now I've imported part 1 first and declared my accessor active1 second. So if we look at this space in the Space Explorer, see my import is first, and so this accessor1 logically presents itself above this accessor1. So now when we try and probe that address space with the active1 request and resolve, again I resolve to accessor1, but now my scope is deeper. Notice that we started in space 4b, but we ended up finally in space part 1. And if we look at the resolution trace, we notice that we tried part 4b, we entered part 1 via the import, and the import space resolved on accessor1. And as soon as we resolved, that was it. We didn't need to try any further. And so what we see is that this logical active1 resource set is completely masking and will never allow this active column 1 resource to be resolved in this address space because of the way that we've ordered the address space. And sometimes that's useful because what it allows us to do occasionally is to override pre-existing capability. But when you've got, I mean, obviously you very rarely want to have the same name of things, but it just shows that you need to be aware that the resolution order is a first come first serve situation. So the resolution starts at the top of the address space and each endpoint gets the chance to resolve, and the first one that says yes I resolve is the one that's used.